I like that, Jeff.
All right, can you tell us a little bit about the Civil War Roundtable?
Well, that's something I kind of inherited back, I guess, going on 7 years ago now, and I had attended, and I've had such a great time, and I have to say, I cannot say how much I appreciate the wonderful cooperation here of the libraries, and that this is a wonderful facility, and you folks just bend over backwards to help out with, especially for setting up for our Civil War History Day that we just this last Saturday before Mother's Day well, we had a great time with that. So that was our 6th annual.
Was the Living History Day your idea?
Well, that's kind of, although I think other people very readily went along with it too then. So it's something that we felt that Worcester needed to have something like this. So.
How many groups come to the Civil War Living History Day?
Well, we had close to 70 or 75 reenactors, and about 20 are in the 73rd OVI Regimental Band, and they're spread out. All their director is Columbus, Ohio, and I know one general's in Smithville and one in Cleveland, and all, but about 20 of them, and they play original Civil War instruments, which go back over 150 years old now, so, and they have such a neat sound. Mm-hmm. And of course the instruments have been restored and maintained and all, they're very accomplished musicians. About half of them are alumni of the Ohio State Marching Band.
Oh, wow.
And then a number of them are in the 122nd Ohio National Guard Band also. They're excellent, and I guess I'm partial, but they get better and better every year, I think. So.
Great. What programs are coming up this fall?
Well, I do have lined up September 18th. I have a retired attorney, John Fazio, that's from Fairlawn, will be speaking on the story of the Union General Francis Barlow, his wife Arabella, and the Confederate General John B. Gordon and his wife Fanny. Both of the wives followed their husbands from battlefield to battlefield, and each nursed her husband back to good health after being wounded. And well, here they became good friends, the generals from opposite sides, and well, here they happened to meet in battle. And after the war was over, they became reacquainted again. And my closing statement here, you will be amazed how the story ends. And then October 16th, at our normal meeting night, is the 3rd Tuesday of the month. John Gurnish, who is from up in Cuyahoga Falls area, he'll speak on the Franklin case and the 2nd Ohio Cavalry. Mr. Case was a resident of Wellington in Lorain County, and the well-traveled 2nd Ohio Cavalry hailed mostly from the northeastern Ohio. By the way, I think the word cavalry must be the most mispronounced word in the whole English language. So many times it comes out Calvary, which I bite my tongue to keep from correcting people. And then November, I do have a gentleman coming up from Westerville, Van Young, the name, and he'll be speaking on the Confederate prison Andersonville. And the trial of Captain Wirz, that was the commanding officer there at Andersonville. Well, I have a comment here that Andersonville, to say the least, is a thought-provoking and challenges the group to decide on whether Captain Wirz got a fair trial. And well, I'll just mention now that Captain Wirz was hung afterward. He was convicted and hung for the terrible atrocities, and I can't help but saying too, many of the Union prisons for the Confederate prisoners were not much better, if any better, than a lot of the Confederate prisons. It just makes me shudder to think about those poor fellows, and a lot of them, when they finally were released from the prison at the end of the war, are just skin and bones. They're not getting nearly enough. Well, it was I just cannot imagine how horrible that was for those poor fellows. So that's what I have lined up for this fall yet. And one of the blessings of my presenting Abraham Lincoln is all the wonderful people that I have met, and people are so glad to come to Worcester to present here. And well, just a couple weeks ago, I met a fine gentleman, John Burke, that happens to be the Medina County Treasurer, and I was amazed when I heard that. But well, I heard him present Lieutenant Frederick Feaster, the only soldier from Medina County to be awarded the Medal of Honor. And Lieutenant Feaster was involved with General Rosecrans, and I can't help but mention General Rosecrans from the state of Ohio was an outstanding general. He had a great misfortune at the Battle of Chickamauga. And I presume everybody's aware of General Grant, General Sherman, and General Sheridan, and all from the state of Ohio. And when I'm speaking, I quite often lead a cheer, "Yay, Ohio!" for these generals from Ohio. Well, Mr. Burke, we look forward. Hopefully this coming February. I don't have that.